Empire.
Welcome to the latest episode of All's Caps with former Capitals defenseman Karl Alzner. I'm AP hockey writer Steve Wino, and we have the pleasure of being joined live from Moscow by former Capitals forward Eric Fehr. How's Moscow this time of year, Eric?
It's beautiful. A little bit of snow yesterday. It's a little bit dark, but it's a beautiful city for sure. Obi wasn't lying.
Fair. Okay, so first of all, let's stop right there. We can never give any of the Russians credit for having a beautiful city, because they'll never stop talking about it. And that's one of the places that they've always been saying is so nice. But let's edit that out, Wino, please, before we put this live.
I was pretty impressed with their Christmas decorations, actually. I was surprised. Went cruising by Red Square, and it was really done up with a little Christmas market and stuff. I was very impressed.
All right, fine. We'll give it to them just this one time, but only this time of year too.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Eric is playing for Canada at the Channel One Cup in Moscow. Canada's kind of preparing for life maybe if the NHL doesn't go to the Olympics. So, Eric, what's this like? I mean, playing in this tournament and the possibility, maybe, knock on wood, I guess for you, of playing in Beijing for Canada.
Well, it's exciting just to be able to be a part of Team Canada here. I wasn't playing hockey at the start of the season and got the call from Team Canada to join them at the Channel One Cup in preparation in case the NHL pulls out of the Olympics. So it's exciting just to be here and be playing some games. And we had a sold out building yesterday playing against Russia. So it was a very cool experience. So I'm just excited to be playing hockey again, and just waiting to see what happens with the NHL and the Olympics.
So let's go back and just explain to everybody where you were at, like what you were contemplating doing until all of a sudden you got this call and started going full tilt into training again. What were you where was your head at for your, at the time, post hockey career? What were you thinking about doing? Because you had mentioned one of the potential gigs that you had lined up. So if you can talk about it anyways, just let us know what you were thinking about doing.
Well, yeah, I guess I was planning on retiring and working a little bit with a company that I'm a part of, Lactigo. So we were doing a little bit of that stuff and starting to get some hockey players working with the product and stuff like that. But I got the call and then dropped everything and then just started training again, ramping up and trying to get back into game shape. So it took a little bit of time, a little bit of an older guy than I used to be. So, but I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Going back, Wino, I'm sure you know this too, but for anybody who doesn't, when Fairzy was playing in the WHL, the Western League, so junior, and I was there too for, I don't know, one or two of your seasons there. Fairzy was one of the only guys that was scoring 50 goals in that league. And not only did you do it once, you did it twice, right? You scored 59 one year? Is that right?
50 and then 59, yeah. You got it, Ozzy. That's a nice memory there.
So I just want to say, like, this is I guess a good, I don't know, something interesting for fans to understand is that, so, Eric, his career was, you were basically known for your defense for the most part, right? Like, you were one of the best shutdown players I've ever played with. And you go from scoring 59 goals in probably, at the time at least, the hardest league to score 50 goals in as a junior player. And then when you get to the league, you find a role that, well, a team sometimes puts you on a role, or you find a role that fits you, and you do that as best possible, because there's so few players that can be the goal scorers on the team. And so how did that feel for you, finding, trying to find I guess a different path than maybe what you had expected coming into the league?
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I checked into the league as a high scoring winger, and I checked out of the league as a checking centerman. So obviously a lot changed along the way, but you kind of have to adapt to stay alive in that league. And the league was moving at a different pace than it was back when I broke into it. So had to adapt to the more defensive side of the game and work on the penalty kill and all that stuff. But I started to take a lot of pride in it. Whatever you do, you want to do it well. So you want to have a good penalty kill. You want to be a good shutdown player. And I took a lot of pride in that. And I think it was just as enjoyable as scoring goals. You obviously don't get the as much on the score sheet, and the fans don't recognize it as much. But at the end of the day, you can be happy with what you did to help the team win.
Yeah, and your teammates recognize it. And I was always frustrated with your stick. So even as a defenseman, having you come down, and when you're someone who knows both sides of the game the way you do, it just makes it that much better. And so I mean, it's kind of trending that way, that the NHL's probably not going to be sending guys, but we know it could change. When you're over there and you're playing in Geneva, and if you you with the Spengler Cup and all that, what style of game do you think you're bringing? Are you trying to be more offensive for that because you were one of the NHL guys coming over there, or how do you find your game translating? Because it's bigger ice. I always say if I go over to Europe to play, I would be a freewheeling defenseman going end to end, but I know it's not always the case.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the tournament. The Channel 1 Cup is on regular ice, NHL ice, and the Spengler Cup's on the Olympic-sized ice. So I guess I got to play a little bit of both styles, a little bit of dump and chase in this tournament, and then maybe turn on the dangles for the next tournament. I don't know. It's a lot different depending on where you are and depending against which countries you're playing. The styles they vary so much. But you definitely get an opportunity to score a little bit more in Europe. Obviously, you're relied upon more on the power play and get a little bit more ice time than back in North America. So it's a lot of fun. You get a lot more puck touches, and you're a little bit more involved in the game on the offensive side. So you can definitely bring back some old memories and score some goals. It feels pretty good.
Karl, when are you coming back? I mean, Steve Oleksi's already made his comeback. He's playing in Toledo. Eric is now over in Europe. When are you making your comeback?
Well, you know what? I would have. So this is funny. I know that Fehr's building Chateau Winnipeg right now back home, and he's found a way to get out of the building process to go and play hockey. And we're building a house here, so there's no leaving. I need to be there as the foreman on this job, make sure that everything's going according to plan. So I'm not going anywhere. And plus, I think there's a coach on that team that probably wouldn't want me playing on that team either. So I don't think I'll be coming out of retirement anytime soon. I'll be chirping from the sidelines now.
Yeah, you just need help with you just need help with your men's league team.
Yeah, yes, get some scouts out to the men's league there, Halsey.
Yes, I'm definitely going to be holding a tryout for some. I'd probably say some defensive forwards, actually, someone who can cover the slot while I'm doing some work in the corners because we got exposed last game. So yeah, when Fehr's done in those tournaments, I'm going to sign him to a professional tryout with the Hat-Trick Swayzes in the men's league team. So Fehr, stay sharp, please. We need you.
That's a great name for a team.
It's always good. Men's league names are always the best. So I was pretty fired up to play for them. Okay, so Wino, we've talked about the chums on this already a few times. And Fehr is an honorary chum. And one of my favorite things about Eric is that he's one of those guys that comes to the rink and is always happy, always smiling, even though your body's taken a beating over the years, I must say. We always joke that Fehr was held together with tape. Like the guy would come into the rink and have to get taped up everywhere just so he could put his gear on and play. So I always laughed about that. But Fehr, I know that this has happened, but tell me, if you can go in as much detail as you want, but has a coach ever told you that you've been smiling too much at the rink?
Well, I know exactly what you're doing. You're setting me up here to call out one of my coaches, but I think he would be okay with it. So we're going to run with it. I came into the league. I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. Obviously, you know the story, and I don't remember it probably in as much detail as you, but I just remember being really frustrated after. But we were in Pittsburgh in the old igloo, and we got kicked. I don't know how bad it was, but it wasn't great. And I guess after the game, it was probably you telling jokes. I don't know who's telling jokes in the room, but I had a good chuckle with it. I was smiling after the game, and our good friend Bruce Boudreau came after and just said, "Fehr, do you ever stop smiling? This isn't the time to smile." And I kind of got in a little bit of trouble there, and I was told to have a little bit less fun at the rink. So it's tough. I really like to enjoy every day, but I definitely understand after losing a game, you gotta tighten up a little bit. So it's a bit of a learning curve coming into the league for sure.
It's so funny. It's tough because he's right in a way. It's like it's weird. It's like you lose a game and obviously you're mad that you lost, but you you don't need to walk around with like your frown upside down, and pouting and stuff like that. I don't like guys like that, so I think that's why I appreciated that you were the way, well, you are the way you are. It made me laugh at the rink and probably smile a little bit more. But I'll tell you, the what bugged me is, so Wino, we had a seriously competitive ping pong tournament at the rink as well, and Fairzy is the best defensive ping pong player I've ever seen in my life. Except, what is it? You don't hit a forehand. Is that what it is? You only hit backhand.
I can't use the forehand of the paddle like for power. So everything is just returning it right to the middle of the table with spins. So it's a greasier game than my hockey game, if you can imagine that.
Yeah, so he'd just be standing on the other end of the table. He's 6'4". He's got a wingspan like he can't even believe, and he just returns everything, and he's smiling the entire time while he's doing it. And you're so frustrated because these rallies are going on for like 5 minutes per ball, and you can't get the ball past him. It was just like same thing with his smile, always there, just giggling around. But I mean, just one of the best guys to have around the rink. So
Did you ever
that's
did you ever try Smash Fest? Dominic Moore does that table tennis tournament every summer in Toronto. You should consider entering that.
I don't know what kind of ping pong skills I have anymore. I repaired my elbow. I got a new another piece put into my elbow, so it doesn't work quite as well as it used to. Just like Halsey said, I kind of get taped together everywhere, so the body isn't quite as loose and limber as it was back in the day.
Yeah, this is 36-year-old Eric Fehr talking about that. We'll take a break real quick on All's Caps, and we'll be back and tell some more Bruce Boudreau stories as he is 5-0 with the Vancouver Canucks. Welcome back to All's Caps. I'm AP hockey writer Steve Wino with former Capitals defenseman Karl Alzner and former Capitals forward Eric Fehr. We are telling stories, reminiscing about the Chums days, the Caps days, and Bruce Boudreau, who I think is smiling, guys, a little bit more around the rink now because he's 5-0 since coming back to hockey with the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And I mean, Fairzy, you had an opportunity to play for him for a while, so you got to see a lot of what he did. And we were talking last week about what makes him special as a coach. And like all coaches, you have kind of a bit of a love-hate relationship every now and then. But what was it about Bruce that you liked? What do you think he made him such a successful coach? He's one of the winningest coaches we've got right now in the league. And what do you think it is that makes him successful?
Well, I think when he comes to the rink, he comes with a little hop in his step, and he gets excited to come to the rink. And he's not, some of the coaches can be a little bit grumpy and a little bit serious, but like he comes into the room and he kind of wants to just talk about what you did the day before and just kind of chat with you a little bit instead of just always business, business, business. But I think that's one of the things that the players like, and I think they get an opportunity to just play. I guarantee you, when Vancouver got rid of their coach, they brought Bruce in. They just kind of breathed a sigh of relief, like, okay, now we can just play and don't have to worry about getting yelled at. And I think that's something that Bruce does. Obviously, he can get mad at times, but he will let you play at the same time. So I think they're probably excited about that right now.
Yeah, I agree, and that's exactly what we've been saying, is that he knows how to coach players, and sometimes he'll push some buttons just to see what he can get out of you and figure out how you react best. But yeah, he lets guys free wheel. I mean, we were winning games 5-4, 6-5. We would be up 4-0 in the period, and then we'd let the foot off the gas a little bit and still find ways to win. But that's a little bit of I think what makes him successful is, like you said, he lets guys feel a little bit more free. He still wants you to be accountable, but it's okay to make some mistakes every now and then. So I feel like, yeah, you're exactly, agree with you completely with how you assess that. So I want to go back to something else really quick though. So I've asked people in the past, what travel's like and how they enjoy going to certain cities and all this. But one of the things that I'm always reminded of with Fairzy and actually Carly too, was how you guys would fall asleep the second you always got on the plane, and you could never stay awake for more than 5 minutes. I'm remembering that correctly, right?
Obviously, you know exactly how it is. We don't sleep on the plane. And I don't know if I've ever fallen asleep on a plane in the NHL. And I think, I'm trying to think back. I don't think I ever fell asleep. So there were some tough road trips. Those flying out west was always tough, or getting back in the middle of the night or early morning. It's a tough gig when you can't sleep on the plane. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, He's a white knuckler. Like, any sort of turbulence and stuff, getting a little bit, seatbelt gets a little bit tighter. And I think you've probably watched every single TV series ever out on the plane, because he's right. I mean, I will say I may possibly have some evidence of one quick cat nap, 5-10 minute cat nap, which I'll have to dig into the archives and see if I can find it. But I don't know how you did it. I mean, after 2 o'clock in the morning, after a game, whatever it is, and always finding a way to be awake, even after kids too. Like, that's when I got my naps in, was when I was on the plane trying to catch up on some sleep. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. And the other thing too, that I mean, are you still the same way with how fast or how slow, I guess, you eat your meals? That's I never understood. You would be the longest guy ever at all the team meals. And tell us how that happened.
I mean, I'm exactly the same as you remember me, Halsey. I can't fly. We were flying over to Moscow here, and we were having some serious turbulence over the ocean, and I was hitting the panic button like you wouldn't believe. But yeah, as far as eating is concerned, still the slowest eater in the world. Drives my family crazy, because I mean, with kids, like, they eat as fast as they can, they're just gone. So my wife ends up trying to chase them around the house while I'm just slowly chipping away at my plate, and it drives just about everybody crazy. And it's not that I'm trying to eat slow; it's just the way it goes. I think it's healthier for you too, right?
I've been told that, but it's like, what'd you tell me? I think you told me one time that you just like a lot of people enjoy eating; they like the taste of food or whatever. And I think it was you that said, like, you don't even enjoy the taste of food or don't enjoy eating. You eat because you have to eat. And I remember seeing, like, agony on your face sometimes, like your elbow on the table, head resting in your hand, just thinking, like, I got to get this food down because we play tonight, but I really don't want to be here right now. It's just like, it's just funny. It's different than the way I am. So I guess you're still doing the same thing.
Eating is definitely a chore for me, and I think part of it is because I had to put on a lot of weight when I was younger just to play hockey. Like, they kept saying, you got to be bigger. And I remember one year Bruce came in at the year-end meeting. He's like, Fairzy, I want you to play like Mike Knuble. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, look at Mike Knuble. You can't move him. And I'm like, yeah, he's like 230 pounds. He's like, well, Fairzy, I need you to put on some weight. And I was like, whoa. So he said, like, you gotta put on 15, 20 pounds. I'm like, over summer? He's like, yeah. So you should have seen me that summer, Halsey. I was eating everything I could find. And I come back to camp. I was probably 15 pounds heavier, and I couldn't move. And Bruce is like, Fairzy, you can't skate. You can't move. I'm like, yeah, told me to put on 15 pounds. I was like, I'm Moose's speed now. And he's like, well, you got to keep your speed and play like Moose. Like, that doesn't work. So he ended up getting me to lose weight again and come back down. But that experiment didn't quite work out as planned.
Amazing.
And Moose is Mike Knuble, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Eric, Karl seems to have the receipts on everyone. A photo of you asleep on a plane. Do you have any dirt on Karl that you can share?
I mean, I got some good ones, but we might have to talk about those off air and see if they can see the light of day. But
so me and Fairzy were the dynamic duo. We always stuck together. Like, if we were going out as a team, whatever, it was always like, you don't leave without me, I don't leave without you. We always made sure we were looking out for each other. So it was so anything he's seen, I've seen, and vice versa. So we're kind of, I always said that there's not many stories about me floating out there, but if there is any, Fairzy would be the guy that would know him. So
I look forward for our, when we have our off the record podcast that people have to pay for. We'll have all these stories, but we'll have there's some Ben Guerrero stories that we forgot to share a few weeks ago. We got some Matthew Perot stuff. This when we do kind of like after All's Caps after dark, we'll be able to share all that stuff.
Yeah, a little bit of pay-per-view action. I like that.
Yeah, that's the way to do it right there. Well, we've taken care of a bunch of guys too over our time. We could fill a few hours with some of the things that's gone on. So we'll figure it out. If we get enough people reaching out saying they want the pay-per-view version, then Fairzy will have you back for that.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, Eric, I'm curious about something, Eric. Just like like you had a kind of a tenure in Washington that was the Bruce days, the Dale Hunter days. What was the best? Like, kind of, what was your kind of lasting memory about playing for the Caps and anything that's related to playing with Karl Alzner?
Well, I remember Carl Alsner wearing sunglasses for the Winter Classic warm-up, and that's one of my memories that stands out at Nats Park. Um, did you wear them for the first, or did you take them off after warm-up?
I wore them for just the first period until the sun went down.
Yeah, so that is a vivid memory I have of Allsy, and obviously for myself, memories the Winter Classics were kind of my highlight of playing in Washington. Those were some great memories. The HBO series, and now that Bruce is back, kind of in the spotlight, just showing his intermission speeches again. They were showing that the other day. I saw on Twitter. Really brought a smile to my face to remember those times. But there was some great times. We obviously had some unbelievable teams. Actually, the team we played against yesterday had Sergei Fedorov on the bench. So I remember playing with him back in the day. So a lot of thoughts on the Capitals for sure.
Weren't you Mr. Winter Classic? Didn't you score in the game in Pittsburgh?
I did. I scored 2 in the Pittsburgh game, and I was lucky enough to get 1 at Nats Park. So those were definitely my favorite games to be a part of.
He's an all-time Winter Classic player.
Yeah, they got to stop having them now so I can stay up there on the list. But they just have so many of them now.
That's why you're so good at the Spanglers, because it's half outdoors. You like playing outdoors.
Yeah, there must be something, the crisp ice. I don't know what it is. Maybe no one else can see because there's so much sun. I don't know what it is, but it's working for me.
Hockey Canada is now moving the Beijing Olympic hockey games outside so Eric Fehr could score a hat trick every game.
I think it's because the ice is so bad outside that it kind of levels the playing field. So, the guys that are really mucking and grinding with the bouncing pucks, it's a level playing field for us.
Too good.
We love the old stories. Next, we'll take a break now on All's Caps, and we'll come back with the famous Karl's stupid questions for Eric Fehr. Welcome back to All's Caps with former Capitals defenseman Karl Alzner. I'm AP hockey writer Steve Wino. We are joined by former Capitals defenseman and now former Capitals forward and now Hockey Canada forward Eric Fehr, who is our latest guest on Karl's stupid questions.
Yes. All right, Fairzy. So, quick rundown. I got 6 questions for you. I'm going to give you a score at the end, depending on how good or bad your answers are. And I'm going to tally it up, and you're going to go on the list. We've had 6 participants so far, and John Walton's actually leading right now with 106 points. So it's very
What's
important.
the criteria here? What do you want me to come up with? You want like funny stuff, or you want serious, or like are these like actual answers? What
we want to be entertained, I think.
We want to be entertained, but we also want the real stuff. Like I'm the question I ask you, I want to have your actual answer, and I'm going to decide if it's good or not. So it's just we're essentially rating you as a person, and seeing how much we like you.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so first one here is we've mentioned that you are a big TV show watcher. What's your all-time favorite TV show series?
I would say probably Homeland. Only because the series finale was unbelievable. Probably the best series finale of all time, in my opinion. I just like that kind of CIA stuff and everything. So I'm going to go with Homeland.
Yes, love that show too. Good pick. Okay, now this one, I don't know if it's changed. I believe I remember what your previous one was. So this could earn you a lot of points depending on how you answer this question. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, you know who it is. I mean, I can't change now. I got to stick to it. It was always Reese Witherspoon, back from Cruel Intentions. I'm going to really age myself with that one, but she was my favorite celebrity crush.
Do you have a 1B?
No, I don't think I have a 1B. I think my wife will probably listen to the podcast. So I'm going to stay with that one. Nice wholesome Reese Witherspoon.
All right, perfect. Okay, and then your go-to drink on the plane. What is it right now? Well, let's go with what it was when you were playing in North America.
Oh man, you're really putting me on the spot here. Like right now, it's sparkling water. Like I love the Perriers on the plane. Is that the one you're looking for, or was it something else?
No, it's like, you know how some guys, they get on the plane and they always have their drink waiting for them in their cup holder. So I'm curious what is that you're leaning
Yeah,
towards?
it's a sparkling water. It's the 1.5 liter. Give me the big one. Stay hydrated. That's what I'm going with. Final answer.
Final answer, locked it in. All right. Would you rather cook or do the dishes?
Oh man, I 100% cook because I I hate the dishes. And ask my wife. I will do just about anything in the house, but dishes, unless I can just jam it in the dishwasher, that's fine. But other than that, I'm not signing up. So I have to go with cooking.
Do you feel like it's only fair that whoever cooks has to clean, or do you think that everybody chips in on cleaning the dishes? What are your thoughts on that? Because we have a rule at our house, but it's not doesn't
I
always work that way.
I think it's nice to be able to contribute for sure, but my wife knows that if I'm cleaning up, every single thing is going in the dishwasher. So it's those pots and pans that they don't want in there, and everything's going in there. Just put it in. So that's yeah, it is fair though for sure.
So this isn't really part of the questions, but I'm just curious now. Are you the type of guy that if you used a plate or whatever, say you've had lunch and you used the plate, knife, fork, whatever, do you go and do you put it into the sink and then it goes into the dishwasher sometime later, or does it go straight into the dishwasher?
Is this a setup? Like, did you talk to my wife before before I came on here? Because we both know that you must have talked to her. Because yes, I miss the dishwasher once in a while. It goes on the side, it'll sit there for a while, and then eventually it'll get in there. But for sure, you texted Rachel. There's no question.
Wow, it's just how good I know you. I just know what you would do, and that's
No.
I'm a straight into the dishwasher kind of guy. I always give it to people if they like if I see a plate that's on the just beside the sink or whatever, it's clearly dirty, and always grab it and be like, hey, are you done with this? And just make sure that they know that I know what's going on here. Okay, good to
This
know.
no,
You're
this
gonna get me in trouble.
this is why Carl and I get along because I'm the same kind of person. I can't handle dishes in the sink, so that's why this podcast works.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly. Okay. What's your thermostat temperature? What do you got to keep your house at?
Oh, like 19 degrees. Nice and cool. Our house is always cold. Everybody that comes over says it's too cold.
Perfect.
That's
Okay,
about
that's the next thing
66 Fahrenheit, as I have to translate for the Americans in the audience here.
Right. So yeah, it's pretty chilled. Pretty chilled.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm the same way. So that's good points on that one. And then this is actually a little bit more of a hockey related question. Who would you say? So you've played for. I'm just like, I didn't realize. For some reason I just remember you with Washington, Pittsburgh, but I forget. You had a cup of coffee in Winnipeg there, Toronto, San Jose, Minnesota. Of all the players you played with, who would you say is the most underrated player? Maybe not necessarily the most underrated player, but just someone you played with that you were surprised at how good they actually were.
Oh man, you're really gonna put me on the spot there, hey?
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Well, I mean, the most underrated player ever is probably Nick Backstrom, but the problem is that I kind of grew up, in the NHL, seeing him the whole time, so I never really saw him as underrated. But I'm guessing that's probably the guy where people didn't really understand how good he was, and probably still don't understand how good he is. But
Mhm.
I'll just go with the absolute staple for the most points possible, Nick Backstrom.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer. Lock it in.
Lock it in. Okay, that's all the questions. Let me just quick tally here. Homeland, Reese Witherspoon, Perrier, Cook, 66. Okay, so that brings you to a whopping 107 points. 1 point higher than John Walton. That puts you in the driver's seat right there, Fairzy. Congratulations. And I think you did it. You did it for me with Homeland, big Homeland fan, and with the temperature of the house, and then of course Nick Backstrom. So well played. Good job, Fairzy. The points don't matter, but they matter to me.
I kind of felt like I was on the Family Feud there, and on that last Nick Backstrom, I needed like 70 points, and I got it there. That's kind of what I felt, and I knew I had to lock that one in. So I appreciate it all, for sure.
Yeah, this is Carl Osner playing Drew Carey with Whose Lines Is It Anyway with the points don't matter.
I think he
Exactly.
gave me this many points because I didn't throw him under the bus at all today. I think that's the most important part. So I win again.
You win again. He always wins.
there's plenty of time for you to throw him under the bus in other episodes and other conversations down the line. Don't worry about that.
I can't wait.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll talk to you all next week on Allscaps.
Thanks, Bearsy.
Thanks for having me, guys.